Hi there, I'm Koi, and this is going to be a guide for the blind script for new players. Um, Basically, the difference between a blind script for new players and a blind script for people who are good at the game is I can't do the whole script consistently enough to actually teach it to you, but I can teach you the first 6 hits of the 9 hits of the script. And those first 6 hits are super helpful for a new player, because if you can do the first 6 hits consistently without taking damage, then that means that blind is basically a third as long a fight. That is 1/3 as much time for you to make a mistake, for you to take damage. So learning just those first 6 hits is going to be a great boon to your survivability on this fight. So I'm going to show you this fight with green mail, only 6 hearts, no sword beams. I'm using Master Sword, but it doesn't matter because blind takes the same amount of damage from all sources. The sources being sword slashes, sword pokes, sword spins, and or beams. The hammer, Samaria blocks, and Samaria block beams, and Burna. All those things do the exact same amount of damage to blind. 3 hits per phase, 3 phases, so 9 hits. But the script is all about the sword. So we're going to talk about the sword for the most part for this. So I'm going to show the fight once real quick before we go into the specifics. And it's hard to talk and play at the same time. It really is. So I might mess it up and have to redo it. But we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best. By golly. I swiped right when I should have swiped down. Otherwise, that would have been really good, even with the stupid spin. I didn't mean to do the spin there either. We're going to talk about the fight step by step, so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So the first thing that we do when we walk in the room is we're going to drag the maiden into the light right here, and she's going to stop, and that starts the, like the build up to the fight beginning. And we want to stop behind her with our sword out. And there's a lot of leeway with the positioning for this. Basically, you just kind of want to have the point of the sword with a little space between her hair and the point of the sword. It can actually be touching it. It can be a little inside. You could be even a little farther back. Those are all fine positions. But this should be your goal, is with just a little space in between. And you can see I'm holding B while the text box is open. And when I hit A, it's going to start the fight. She's going to become blind, and it will spawn on top of your sword, and that'll cause you to get that first frame hit, which is the first step of the script. The next thing we're going to do after we get that, it's going to stop you from doing a spin, and it'll knock you back into the wall. And all we're going to do is we're going to walk forward a step and hold down B again. We're not spamming slash, right? We're not spamming slash. We're just going to hold down B, and blind will once again hit your sword, and it'll stop you from doing that spin and knock you back into the wall for a second time. We'll start from the beginning. We walk her in, we hold the sword above her head. He spawns, and I walk forward and do it once more, and he just walks right into it. The third hit, you're going to do the exact same thing, just without movement, and you just hold down your sword, and you'll get that third hit, and the first intermission will begin. We'll show it this one twice, so you can see the whole first 3 hits over again. Hold our sword out, walk forward, and do it the 3rd time. And you can see that I did it right because I got pushed to the right of blind's head, of the skull that spawned. One more time, just those first 3 hits. That's not how you do it. So what happened there is I got nervous, and I let go of B before blind actually walked into the sword, and that made me do a spin. And the spin animation takes long enough that I can't do the script anymore. It's already off script once I do that spin. So it's very important that you wait for blind to actually touch your sword and get hit before you let go of B. Just like that. So the next thing we're going to do is, as soon as blind starts the intermission, his dress or whatever collapses to the ground and his head comes off and it starts flying around and throwing fireballs at you. Well, if we're on script, we did those first 3 hits correctly, it will always happen the same way if we do the same thing, right? So the first thing we do is we walk to the left and hold our sword out. And then we are going to charge the spin. We're going to walk to the left and hold our sword out. And the first fireball he spawns is going to come straight at us, and we just move right to avoid it. And I'll show just that little part real quick. First 3 hits. And then we move right and hold our sword out, and move right to avoid. We move left with our sword out, and we move right to avoid that first fireball. Show it one more time since I messed up what I was talking about. Directions are hard. Left and right are really hard for me for some reason. Move left, hold our sword out, and move right to avoid that fireball. And that's it. That's all there is to dodging that fireball. So what do we do after that? So you see I have the sword out to the left, right? Say if blind was here in the center of the hall of the carpet, whatever, and we move this way. We're thinking, well, don't you need to be on blind's other side so that you can poke him when he spawns? And yes, that is true. That's what we're going for. Sorry, just a second. That's what we're going for, but we want that to happen at just the right moment. And so what we're going to do is actually move just to his top left corner, and then go down and underneath him and stop at the bottom right. So I'll show that movement real quick. Everything's real quick. Everything's super quick in this game. We do the first 3 hits. Move left, sword out, dodge, down, and around to the bottom right corner. This is where you want to be. We're not going to stay there for long. You're not going to get hit by that fireball. But once, say if blind was here, and we were over here, go down and around, and now we're in the bottom right. So the head that's flying around, right, if blind's here, the head, when we were in the bottom right, the head's coming around the top. It's coming up to the top left and over to the top right. And that head is constantly shooting fireballs, but because of our movements, we've been able to avoid them so far. And now we have to move once more to avoid the very last fireball of the intermission. And the way we do that is when the head hits the top right corner, we want to move up towards it and stop with the point of our sword inside where blind's hitbox is going to be. And that way when blind spawns, it immediately gets that first frame hit again, just like in the first phase. And if I do it right, you'll see that I move in between that head and that fireball. I'll move in, the fireball will be like below me or to the right or something, and the head will be above me and to the right. We get the first 3 hits. Move to the left, dodge, down, around, and we wait for him to hit the top right corner, and we walk up into them. So if you watch very carefully, I moved in between. We moved in between the head and the fireball, and that'll get us that first frame hit in the second phase. So what do we do after that? Okay, so, well, we walked into him, and we had the sword charged, but because we hit blind, we didn't actually do the spin, unless we let go of B too soon, which screws everything up, by the way. And it will knock us to the right. And what we're going to do is move up and then face down and hold the sword up again, and blind's going to walk into our sword himself. We're not slashing him. We're not slashing him. We're going to hold our sword out, and he's going to walk into it, and he'll stop the sword beam charge, or the sword spin charge. The power attack charge, whatever you want to call it. And he will walk into it himself and take that second hit all on his own. He's a nice guy like that, blind. Do the first 3 hits. Move left, hold the sword out, dodge fireball, down and around. We wait for that head, we come in between it and the fireball, and he just walked right into our sword. All we did was face down, and he walked right into our sword. And that gets our 5th hit of the fight, the second hit of that phase. And then what we do after that is basically the same thing, except we're going to walk left first and do it once more. And if you do it perfectly, you don't get hit. If you mess up a little bit and get hit, you'll be off script, but that's fine. For a new player. Down and around, wait, walk into him, and then move left and do that, right? And we got hit there, and that's fine. We're going to be off script for phase 3 in that point, because I made that mistake. But it's okay. It's okay to mess up that phase, because if you got to that phase and all you took was 1 damage, if you got to the second intermission and you've only taken 1 damage, your chances of killing this boss have increased dramatically. So just doing these first 6 can be like this huge boon to the fight for you. There we go, we did it right that time. Now, the third phase, we can talk about the third phase that you just saw. The third phase is a lot harder for me. I'm not that great at the game. It is very difficult for me to do that consistently. I'm actually kind of proud that I did it just now, because I usually don't do it at all. But like I was saying before, just getting the first 2/3 of the fight, which are relatively simple, like easy, like you could learn that pretty quick. Anybody could, no matter how good you are at the game, how bad you are at the game. Getting to the third phase, that second intermission, with the same health that you started the fight with, the same amount of magic, say if you had the cape or burner with you, the same, you didn't have to use a potion even, your chance of killing the boss is just like so much better than it was before, right? Compared to like you know, just walking around and like swiping him a bunch. This is what I see a lot of new players do. They just kind of dodge and then they swipe a lot. Swipe. Oh god, I missed him. He's down now. We just dodge everything. It's basically bullet hell. But every time I accidentally walk into blind or get hit by something, I take a lot of damage. So that is a really inefficient way. It's actually, it's just straight slower, but it's also way more dangerous. So learning even just the first six hits of the script is so helpful for a new player learning this fight. Now the last 3 hits, I'm not going to be able to show you those really well because I'm not going to be able to do it consistently. But I did it once, so you can rewind and watch that one, because I'm probably not going to be able to get to do it correctly again. But the last 3 hits, everybody seems to have their own way of dodging the fireballs in the last phase. But what I do is when the second intermission starts, I move left and I swipe twice, and then I move right and I swipe twice, and then I move left and swipe, and then immediately turn around and hold the sword out and walk down and over and back up into him to dodge that head. And if I did it right, then I get that first frame hit again. And then it's the same thing as the second phase, just going the other direction. He walks into it, and you go past him, and he walks into it. But again, I'm probably not going to be able to get that again for the rest of the video. We'll do a few more attempts to see if I can get it, but the third phase is really hard. For me, at least. Other people might have an easier time with it. Down and around. We wait. Walk into him. Hit. And we're off script. We're already off script. I guess we were on script, but I got nervous. But you can see, like, I didn't die, and we're starting with, we only have 6 hearts. Like, 6 hearts is so few hearts for this fight. I don't know how many you have in NMG. What do you have? You start with 3, you get 3 for sure. Yeah, this is the first one you do in NMG, so I guess you'd have like 6 or 7 if you picked up the Saint cart. So that was basically an NMG version of the fight, I guess. I don't do NMG. I'm not crazy enough for that. It's fun to watch though, for sure. Let's try it one more time to get that third phase correctly, just so I can show it. I wish I was better at this. If I ever get really good at this, I'll make a new guide. But for now, this will suffice. Down and around. Swipe, 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 swipe. Okay, that was pretty good. We took a fireball, but it's about the same amount of time. And that's blind. I guess we could show the other fights real quick if you're interested. Unfortunately, these are much harder, so I'm gonna give myself more health. But we'll do our best. Hammer is really hard. I think. The hammer does the same amount of damage as a sword, right? But the hitbox is so much wonkier. When you're hitting from above blind, you need to remember that the hammer is only on Link's right side, or I guess Link's left side, but the right side of the screen. So like say the maiden here was blind. Get it? Maiden's blind. Haha. It's only hitting on the right side, so I'd actually want to be above and to the left of the boss. And when you're hitting from the side, they're about the same, right? And when you're hitting from above, it's tiny and to the left. Don't upswing. Do not attempt to upswing blind. You will regret it. We stand like right here, we can get that first hit. Really easy. And then, because there's no script for this, we're basically just dodging things. Or not dodging things. When he's on the top or bottom, like, the main thing is, like, go towards him when he's coming towards you. Don't try to chase him down if he's moving away from you. Like, now. Or, well, be higher up, but... now. Oh my god. He stopped moving on me. And when he's on the top for the second time, he's so much closer to the wall, it's really difficult to get up close enough to him to hit him without also taking damage. So often I'll just wait for him to come down. Like that. And you can see we took 6 hearts of damage that time, so I would have died if I had done it with 6 hearts like with the sword. Samaria is not that bad. I'm gonna try and show you some things, so the fight might take longer than it normally would for me. But he'll just walk into that block by himself. And I can just stand here and do nothing, and he will end himself. See? Okay, one more. There we go. You can also hit him with sword beams. I see a lot of players like put the block down, and then as soon as he hits it, you hit it again. But I think that was too soon. Yeah, it was too soon. Oh, I'm not close enough. Put it closer. There you go. Just kind of running around. You can also, if you are feeling frisky, pick it up and throw it at him. Oh, it's not close enough. There we go. Oh. Oh, come on, let me do it. I want to do a Samaria fight. Alright, we'll try harder. Let's try harder for the Samaria fight. There we go. If you put the block in the right position, the first hit doesn't count towards using up the block. See, normally it takes 2 hits to get rid of the block. We can put the block there so he gets hit as soon as he starts. There we go. We tried harder that time. I still took a ton of damage, but you can see Samaria has a lot of potential for doing the fight well, because like I could drop the block and then he walks into it but it doesn't disappear, and then when he's over here I hit it and he gets hit by the beam as well. I can pick up a block and like snipe him with it like that, and that also works. Or just do what I was doing and place it preemptively so he'll walk into it himself. All those work. The Cane of Burn is the easiest way to kill blind. If you have the cane, blind's basically a free fight. I can show you with well, I just tell you. With half magic, you can actually have the cane just active the entire fight. There's plenty of time. Without half magic, though, you probably just want to get these first 3 hits that are the easiest to do. And then just dodge fireballs in the intermission. And then when it gets close to time, you just activated it and followed him around. Dodge more fireballs in the intermission. Activate it and follow him around. It's the easiest fight in the world with Burna. And then the cape obviously doesn't do any damage to him, but you can use the cape to make the fight easier for you. There's a glitch with the cape you might be aware of, but when you have the cape stay active, if you grab a wall, you stay immune, but it doesn't drain your magic. So we can use this to basically skip having to do the intermission at all. Like, it still happens, it's just we don't have to actually interact with anything. Like, the intermission starts, and I can just grab a wall. And I'm perfectly safe, and there's nothing blind can do to touch me. Maybe you can just walk up to him. Oh my god, he keeps blocking my shot. Now we're almost out of magic. Feels bad, man. You can see the cape makes the fight a lot safer, even if it's a little slow coming back to him like that. But that's blind. We're going to do the regular fight one more time, see if I can get that script perfectly. Probably not, but I'll do my best. First 3 hits. Down and around. Swipe, 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 swipe. hold. We missed it. That's okay. But that's blind. My take on blind anyway. I hope that helped you, especially if you're a new player, because I see a lot of new players saying that blind is a really, really hard boss, and he totally is. Especially in randomizer, where you're often pressured into doing the fight with not very much health or not very good weapons. And Thieves Town's a dangerous place, man. Those grasshoppers, they hurt. They hurt. Watch out for the grasshoppers. Oftentimes, though, Thieves Town, the most dangerous part of the dungeon is not the boss, not blind itself, but just getting to blind with enough hearts that you can easily do them. But I'd say definitely, if you watch this guide, you'll definitely always be able to kill blind if you have at least one safety item with you, whether that be just blue mail or extra hearts, the cape, Burna, or just a bottle with a potion in it. I really hope that by watching this video, blind will no longer be the hardest fight for you, and it is instead Mothula, who is the worst boss battle. Again, I really hope that helped you, and if not, I'm sorry. If you want to ask any questions, feel free to drop a comment on the YouTube video here, or drop by my stream, ask me there, or send me a direct message on Twitch, whatever you feel like. I love helping new players. I'm not that great at the game, but what I do know, I like to share. I definitely do. I'd be very happy to answer any questions anybody might have. Otherwise, have a great day. Have a great day. See you later.